What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kakash13542, aka YG Parada, aka YG Fish, aka Marlin. Your boy here with another bunch of reviews. I know it's been a while since I've had some reviews with the anime convention and just with the new work schedule that I've had recently. It's been a little busy. However, I've spent quite a bit of time being able to catch up on and play what I'm about to talk about with you guys, and I'm real excited about it. Today I'm going to be talking about the second part of Invincible as well as the first part, so basically both parts of Invincible Season 2. I'll be talking about solo leveling because I basically caught up and finished that by the time the anime finished episode 12 on release, and definitely going to be talking about Rise of the Ronin because I've been playing a lot of that. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So, Invincible Season 2. Part 1 of Season 2 was last year, I believe somewhere around like November, something like that, and there was a few episodes, and it was amazing. It was in your face. There was a lot of questions you kind of had if you didn't really read the graphic novel, the comic book, which I haven't read it, but I've done enough research on the show to be like, oh, okay, this is why Immortal is still here. This is where this character comes in and everything like that. So, and they do a really, really good job with progressing the show while also still making its own timeline, because that is the biggest differential between the show and the comic book is the actual timeline. Like the way that the show is in the comic book kind of unfolds very differently than the way that the show unfolds in season 2. I'll get to that in just a moment with one key moment, but it's just the way that they tell things. Like one of my favorite character is Battle, something like that. I can't think of his name. My uncle was telling me about him, but he's the lion character from season 1, and apparently he will be coming back, hopefully by season 3, season 4. So my favorite character still has a reason to return, has a way to return. So outside of that, the rest of the show, I love everything that they have going on. The best thing that they have when it comes to telling the story realistically is incorporating the Anissa timeline at the same time with incorporating the Alan timeline, because spoiler, the big spoiler, Anissa is supposed to rape Invincible. Like, eventually, that's supposed to happen. Like, it's supposed to really, really violate Invincible with who he is. I haven't gotten much further whether they have a kid together, like, because if they do, that's a whole different ball of wax. But so there's supposed to be a weird relationship between Anissa and Invincible. So there's that going on that eventually will unfold. You know, they just talked about how Eve and Invincible are supposed to be together in some kind of way. We'll see how they continue that. They just revealed that Duplicate is still alive, which if you had watched that episode with the Lizard League, you thought that everybody just got absolutely decimated, and apparently, like, everybody actually survived, which was even kind of crazier. And apparently the way that they did it in the comics was way more overwhelming than the way they did it in real life. The way they did it in real life is extremely underwhelming. And that's unfortunate because it's kind of crazy that nobody died. None of the Guardians of the Globe are dead still. Like, everybody is still alive. They are still the strongest heroes on the planet somehow. You know, Shrinking Ray didn't die when she got eaten. Somehow Rex, when he got shot in the head, didn't get lobotomized or anything. He just took a shot to the head and just fought through it. And Duplicate, you know, hid her body somewhere else to keep her body safe. Apparently, like, her multiple, her brother was supposed to be a villain, and it's supposed to, like, prompt Duplicate's return due to, like, that whole villain arc. But they haven't introduced that villain yet. So due to that villain not being introduced, it's interesting how they introduced the Duplicate story already, and how they're gonna change that story a little bit. It's really, really interesting. And then with the whole Alan timeline, with everything like that, they expose the fact that, you know, Alan is Unovan. He's the strongest Unovan ever. He's the only Unovan that can now fight against a Viltrumite, and he's now captured with Omni-Man, and there's obviously going to be some kind of rebellion. No, that was supposed to be like way down the line. That was supposed to be further down the timeline than how kind of early and prompt that they brought it in now. So we'll see how many seasons this show is supposed to have. Like, I remember reading years ago that they said 6 seasons is what they were slated for. So we'll see what gets fleshed out and what gets compounded on. So Again, if you really like season one of Invincible, season two is really really good. The violence is phenomenal. The action is great. The writing is great. The voice acting is great. Um, the story has elements to it that makes it extremely relatable. What with Mark going through his relationship problems, with some of the characters like Donald going through like self identification issues, self realization issues, stuff like that. It's just bringing really really human things to light in a superhero universe that's not the boys, because the boys brings a lot of issues to light, but they do it, in their own way. This does it in its own, and yet with them being, from basically young adults. Like I wouldn't even call them teenagers. The young. I think Mark was 17. In season one. So he's basically an adult. So with them being young adults, it really really adds this good playing field of that funness of what you go through in that time of life, with relationships, with friends, with family, and all that going on. So, really, really enjoyable show. All of season two is available on Amazon Prime. If you have just regular Amazon Video, there's a couple ads now. I don't mind the ads. However, if you do get the extra premium subscription, the ads definitely disappear. So go ahead and check that one out. Next, this got me back into anime because everybody was talking about it, everybody was telling me about it, and I'm kind of waiting for My Hero to come out. So while waiting for My Hero to come out, I needed something else to watch, and that came Solo Leveling, and my God, it was just amazing. Like I was talking about it to one of my buddies, and immediately we were just like, it's refreshing because it's not an isekai. It's not like, oh hey, look, they got sucked into another world, whatever. This guy just got reborn somewhere, and it's not technically a video game either. Kind of like Dot Hack or SAO. Everybody forgets about Dot Hack, but you got Sword Art Online and everything that Sword Art Online has done and all that. It's not a video game. It's like Gate, where this is the world. The world has hunters. The world has gates that happen to open up, and you happen to go through these gates that have dungeons, and then that's the world. People make money doing this. People die doing this. Like it's the way of the way of the world. Every hunter has an awakening. Very few have a reawakening like Sung went through. And just the best thing I could say about the show is that the show itself drove itself. Like you just wanting to know what happened next allowed it to make it a great show. They didn't really have to do much else. Apparently, like his dad is supposed to be incorporated into the show in some kind of way at this point, and he's not even. They didn't even mention his dad once in the first 12 episodes. You know about him, his sister, and his mom. And then all the other people he associates with in the hunter administration and whatnot. Excuse me. So it's very very kind of amazing that they were able to have the show sell itself with being a storyline driven show. That it's like, oh, you want a show about a main character who just gets better, but you don't know how and you don't know why, and it'll eventually explain itself. Cool, let's do it. Like me being such a big that time I got reincarnated as a slime fan, I love the whole HUD UI experience that he as when he reawakened as the player has, because that was cool because he went through his everybody goes through their own reawakening if they are allowed to, not everybody, excuse me, but the ones who've gone through the reawakenings, who knows if they've gone through near death experiences, who knows if they're going to go into that. But it's kind of cool that he went through his own rebirth, his own isekai experience, his own slime experience, so to speak, but it's only unique to him and it only pertains to him. So, thus making him even more so the protagonist, the player, thus making him more so not in an isekai, but one with isekai traits. And I think that's why the show itself is also doing very well, because it's taking on the term of like, oh, hey, look, the character himself has reawakened. Literally, that's what they call it in the show. And in a lot of other anime, a lot of other TV shows, it's a lot of times the main character rebirths into another world and has all these new powers and has all these new things and has all these new abilities. And he's able to do that while still staying within the same parameters of his world. And I think that's such a big selling point for this show. Like the Dialogue is hilarious. Like when it gets funny, it gets funny. When it gets serious, it gets serious. When it gets violent, it gets violent. Like it is a like the first episode is sets the bar exactly for what you're going to watch, but at the same time, like it's not like in your face grotesque violence. It's just a really really good show. Like, apparently season 2 is supposed to be slated to be coming out this year. I'll probably like pinpoint November, probably like the near the winter season of anime. I'll be surprised if it comes out any sooner than that. But season 2 is supposed to come out this year. Into all 12 episodes of season 1 on Crunchyroll. So go watch that. I'll probably be catching up on some other anime here shortly while trying to wait for My Hero Academia. We'll see if there's anything new out there. If you guys have anything new for me to watch, post it in the comments. Let me know. Like, Solo Leveling was amazing. Let me know what else I can watch. So, alright. To end this review session, we'll be talking about Rise of the Ronin. And I have been playing as basically my own version of Afro Samurai, and I love it. One of the few things I've been asked by one of my friends, and one of the few things I'll talk about is that how it's similar to Ghost of Tsushima and how it's not similar to Ghost of Tsushima is that it's not. It's not Ghost of Tsushima at all. Ghost of Tsushima is just a beautiful single player story driven game that has a multiplayer aspect to it that's completely separate from the single player. As opposed to this game has a multiplayer aspect that's embedded into the single player. Um, Ghost of Tsushima, you literally use one weapon and have different stances. This one, you have different weapons with different stances. Like so, it's if you want Ghost of Tsushima, it's you got to go play Ghost of Tsushima. If you want something that where you play as a weapon user, it's basically a hack and slash. You can as long as you understand the buttons that you need to press and when you need to press them, it's not that hard of a game. It's honestly super duper fun. I really, really like the free roaming aspect of it. I really, really like the fact that you have to play the game twice because apparently there's two different endings. There's a good guy ending and a bad guy ending. A good person ending and a bad person ending. Like it's just like I think that's really refreshing because it's been a while since I've had to play a game more than once, more than just replay the game on the hardest difficulty. Okay, and that's the trophy. It's like this game literally has a completely different storyline, has two different endings to the game. And in order if I want to get all the trophies, if I want to get the full picture of the story, I have to play it twice. And that's super refreshing and exciting. One of the things that I really do like about this game is the multiplayer aspect, because the multiplayer aspect is based on missions. So when you get to main missions in the game, as long as the person that you're inviting isn't further than you it isn't behind you in the game. Excuse me. They can be further than you, but they're behind you. You guys can play missions together. Now, you can't invite someone who's behind you in the story, and that's also something I haven't experienced in a game before either. Like usually when it comes to games and you can sandbox, hop in, hop out, come and go and play with your friends kind of deal. You can kind of just do it fluidly, and you kind of can just do it at any time in the story. In this portion of the game, if I'm at this portion of the game, I can't take you further than what you are. You have to get to where I'm at, and I feel like that's to allow the player to experience the story. There's a lot less spoilers, when it comes to that way. So yeah, very very unique, very very fun aspect to that. Like I had to actually play the game if I wanted to actually do missions with one of my buddies because he was further than me in the game, so I had to actually put in some hours and catch up real quick. So I really really enjoy that aspect. And one of the greatest things about this game is that it's Team Ninja, and Team Ninja knows how to play games where you use multiple weapons. Hence Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden 2, there are trophies in it, achievements in Ninja Gaiden 2 where you have to play the game multiple playthroughs using just one singular weapon to beat the game with. It's very, very difficult. It's very, very hard. I don't think there's anything like that in this game, but I do like that you can master different weapons and different weapon styles. I do like the vast amount of different weapons and different weapon styles. I do like that they picked a time period that's being influenced by the West, by America. Thus, there's a saber United States sword style weapon style in the game, thus making it super fun and super unique. I don't think I've experienced a sword style saber sword in a game outside of Lies of P. We already talked about Lies of P way back. Lies of P was great, and this game has some elements of Lies of P with having that saber aspect into it. Rise of the Ronin is a great game. Like, I'm excited to see if there's going to be any DLC, or if there's going to be anything added to the game later, and if not, the fact that you have to play the game twice to get the full picture thus makes it such a big enough game as it is. Like, there's a lot of aspects to it that are fun, like other games. There's a gliding aspect, there's a grappling hook aspect, the free roaming aspect, the choices aspect. There's all of those. You know, you have to build relationships with other characters, so thus building the bonding aspect. There's a lot of things to this game that thus makes it a lot of fun. Not everything is super developed and super fleshed out like it is in other games. Some things are a little bit more linear and a little bit more surface level, but that's okay. It's really more focused on you chopping people's heads off with swords and stuff. That's what it's about. So go ahead and play Rise of the Ronin. I believe it's on PC and PS5. If not, PS5. So anyway, if you guys like this, like, subscribe, comment, and let me know what else I should be playing or should be talking about. Any anime, any TV shows, any video games, let me know. Peace, guys.